Welcome to Blake's Garage. Probably sending out some notifications now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and let those start rolling in. But we'll see who starts joining up. Just hit 50K. Well, we're about 51,000 subscribers now, which is awesome. So thanks a lot, guys, for everyone that has subscribed. Looks like we got a couple people coming on. Zion HD, a couple guys. Hey, so let me know where you guys are from, and then a couple questions if you guys want to drop me questions down below. Start going on that stuff, because that would be cool. So obviously all you guys are in the subscriber squad, or notification gang is what I should say. So thanks a lot for subscribing. So we got some guys from Ohio, so Zion HD, Nicholas from San Diego. What's up, guys? So yeah, Ahan is from Arizona. Do you take calls? I don't know what you mean by that. Mississippi Gulf Coast. I mean, you can go ahead and take some stuff down below. If you want to hit me up on Instagram or whatever, at Blake's Garage. Okay, so Justin Kelly's asking kind of a good question here. Let's see, he says, best autocross tires under $100 a piece. Well, depends on the tire size, I guess, because if we're talking 15s, then that's kind of cheating, because like 15s you can pretty much get everything for $125. I know that's not under, but for $100, I would say the best tires would be just like Federal RSRRs. That's what I would probably pick up. You're saying 215 45 17s. I think you can get those for around $100. Altogether, a good 200 treadwear tire. They're all right, but you know, you could definitely do a bit better with a bit more money. Obviously tires are a big deal. I would recommend, you know, going with the best ones that you can afford. So if you're gonna autocross, I would go RE71Rs, or I'd go R888Rs if you want something good for the street. I mean, not that RE71Rs aren't good for the street, but I really like the R888Rs because they're really good for street and track. So we got some guys from Los Angeles, AE36 Drift. What's up? D During, if I'm saying that right, sorry if I'm destroying that. Okay, so we got some good questions down here. So someone is asking, D During is asking, Golf R or S3? So, two kind of options there. So if you want a manual car, go with the Golf R, right? Because you can't get an S3, at least in the States, without a DSG. Sorry, DCT for BMW, DSG for Audi. I always kind of get those confused. So you can't get it without the dual clutch. However, the dual clutch is really good in both those cars. So Volkswagen makes a pretty good dual clutch. I like the BMW or Porsche dual clutch a little bit better, but hey, you know, the Golf R is cool if you're into Golfs. I mean, that's just kind of my thing. I went with the S3 because of the fact that, like, I'm not a fan of Golfs, in my opinion. It's just kind of a small car. I've always been a fan of Audis, had a B5 Audi A4 back in the day and really liked that size of car. So pretty much just stuck with that. So that's kind of why I've been doing that. Excuse me. So then AE86 asks right after that, and this is kind of where I would throw that in, because we're going Golf R S3, and then he's throwing out BMW M2 competition, yay or nay, and I would say yay, and I would say don't get a Golf R or an S3, get the M2 competition. So that just really mixes stuff up right there. But yeah, the M2 competition is cool. I definitely love my M4. It is really awesome. S55 is a good engine. So that's really cool that they threw it into the M2 comp. At first, see, I didn't really like the M2 just for the general reasons of didn't have an M or an S code engine, so it didn't technically have an M engine. The seats were kind of garbage, in my opinion. They were just kind of like base level, and that's what you get with the 2 Series. Is you have to remember that you're looking at the entry level of that particular vehicle. So like that's why I like the M4 or the M3 a little bit better, because there are more options. But with the competition, they kind of did fill in a lot of those things with the seats. What else did they put on there? The dampening, the different wheels. Still doesn't have ECD or ES, electronic dampening control, EDC. Yeah, EDC. Does not have that, so that's kind of a bummer in my opinion. I really like that option because I tend to actually drive the M4 around in comfort for steering and for the what I drive it in steering comfort, suspension comfort, and then Sport Sharp or Sport Plus for the throttle control. So I really like that. But yeah, M2 competition would be awesome. If you know anybody that has an M2 competition or phone right now, don't know if that screwed that up. Hopefully it's fine. Sorry about that. So yeah, if you know anybody with the M2 competition, let me know. That would be cool to do some sort of video on that. Then, sorry if I cannot say your name right. Kadusha Goldie. What's up? Hey, what's up, man? Can I get an under shield for my E36? Okay, I think you're talking about just a skid plate. I want to say Turner Motorsport might make one. I'm sure some people make a skid plate. I think that's what you're talking about. I can't remember if Red 46 Sump Armor, I know they make them for the E30, which is what I have. I imagine there's somebody out there. Just search skid plate for E36, and I'm sure you can find one. And it's one of the items that I definitely recommend if you're pretty lowered, because it will save you some oil pans and that type of stuff. Sorry if I'm scrolling through this stuff a little bit weird. We got 30 people in here. This is awesome. This is great. Give it some thumbs up, guys, because we only got 2 of those, but we got 30 people in here, so we need a couple more thumbs up. See, Parker is saying for a bit more, good tires R888R. That's exactly, yeah, what I just said. So, yes, confirmation on that. I do really like the 888Rs. I've had the NTO1s. Personally, NTO1s are really good on track. They are very loud on the road. Same with the R888Rs. They are a bit loud. They have a bit of humming on the freeway, but that's what you're going to get with any R compound tire. The NTO1s, I got a great deal on them. I've had I have like 4 sets of NTO1s in my garage right now. So I've had 2 sets on the E30, on the Bird E30. I have like a toasted set and then 1 set that's pretty good. And then, which I have on the Watanabe. Are those Watanabes? No, they're not Watanabes. They're Panasports that look like Watanabes, but still both are legit wheels. So let's see. And then the Ambits have the NTO1s on them as well. And as far as those tires go, so between NTO1s, NTO1 is going to be a more track oriented tire. It needs a bit more heat to get the grip levels up compared to the R888R. I drove all winter, last winter, not this current winter, in the E30 on R888Rs, and I loved them. They were actually really good. Excuse me, guys. Yeah, I like those tires a lot. In the rain, they worked really well. They had very good grip. Now, standing water, okay, not so much. You will hydroplane, but just wet surfaces, the R888Rs work great. And the side bite is really good too. So like if you're getting sideways, they have really good like side bite basically. Where the NTO1s, not as much, and the RSRRs, not as much either. So awesome. Wade from Australia, what's up, man? G'day. That's awesome. I actually have a ton of viewers from Australia, so thanks a lot for watching, guys. That's awesome. Parker is saying, I'm planning on getting an E30 soon. Gotta sell my Mark III Super first. Well, that's rad. Those Mark III Supers are cool, man. I think you could probably sell it to somebody. Those are cool. But yeah, I know like they're not worth as much money anymore, so that's kind of a bummer. I'm here to be that E30 dude. What's up, Alex? EDC, correct, yeah. I always get that screwed up. Wanted to call you on the OB D11. I mean, just ask me a question, man. Parker or Patrick, ask me a question about it. Because yes, I've used it in the S3. I am going to be doing a video soon on the Mike Harley for the BMW. That thing is pretty cool. It's another one of those little adapters that lets you do some coding. I've had good luck with the OBD11. I've been able to do some long coding on that. And I know there is the, I'm forgetting the name, Rostec version of that, but it requires a PC and a laptop. I have a Mac. See, Mac. So it makes it a little bit tough to use that software. And you kind of have to have a dedicated laptop for that. I usually borrow it from a friend, and I gotta borrow his laptop and all that, and it's just not as fun, but it is really good software. Alex April says, learn to drive a slow car fast first. Forget the mods. Yeah, I guess. I don't know who you're talking to about that. Yeah. E30 is definitely a fun car for that. Definitely get some seat time. Carl says, yo, Blake. And then Danny says, can you get an aluminum under panel for the M? Oh, you can. So he's calling out to Danny that you can get one from Motion Auto Parts. Alex April retracted his message. Okay, interesting. What was your first car? So my first car was actually 1968 Ford Mustang. That was the one that I threw together. That was the one I had in my garage. Did a video a while back. I did sell that. I guess that was this year. I don't remember. It's either this year or last year. But yeah, I did end up actually selling that car because it just sat forever. And for what I wanted to do to it, it was going to cost way too much money in my opinion. It would have just kind of ended up being like some sort of show car thing. And I'm not really into show cars. I don't know if you guys can kind of tell that, but I'm into doing stuff with my vehicles. So yeah, I like doing autocross stuff. I like doing track days, ripping around canyons, you know, fun drives, things like that. Definitely performance oriented. You're not going to see my cars with bags on them or any of that crap. Because I think bags are stupid. So yeah. Yes. Think about that. Anybody that says bags are awesome, they're cool. I get it, but you cannot change your spring rate. Your ride height is set. Now your alignment specs are all off because depending on where you are, that's going to throw off your alignment every time you raise and lower the car. I know you can set it to a proper ride height, but you know your spring rates aren't there. You don't have adjustable damping. It's not that good. It's not that good in my opinion. Coilovers or something along those lines would be much better. I would bow to you if I could see Bert. Oh, yes, you want to see Bert. Here he is. He is right here. Someone wants to see Wilbur.
Well, hey there, guys. Me, Berto. You haven't seen me in a bit, but I'm just chilling here. Just went on a walk, and I've been having a pretty good time actually this year. It's been pretty good. Yeah. All right. See you guys.
All right, so there's Bert. I know I haven't showed him on the channel in a while. He's been doing good. Let's see. Did you end up getting a set of the Apex rims from the group up? Maybe I did. Yeah, actually I did. So you guys are gonna get the sneak peek. Birdie 33.2 because S52. When I do the E30 or why am I saying E30? When I do the Birdie 30 S52 swap, at the end of that, I will be throwing on the Apex wheels. So yes, I did get those wider 17x8 5s. So I have those chilling in the boxes, have not put rubber on them yet. I'll probably wrap those in some sort of good rubber, either Intio ones, possibly if I can find like a scrub set of Toyo, what am I looking for? Toyo RRs, Proxy RRs, the slick, the semi-slick with the 2 grooves in them, because I think I can get some of those at Thunderhill. I'll rock those for the summer. Those would be pretty rad. So yeah. What suspension shock spring setup do you recommend for something like your DD E30? Something for cheap until I can get coilovers. Okay, so if you're just looking not to do coilovers, I would just go with like the Coney yellows, or I would do the like spec E30 setup. I think $600 or $700, man, is gonna get you a really good clean setup. Do not do Racelands. Stay away from Racelands. Racelands, no. Don't do it. I know they look appetizing at $300 or whatever they are, but they are junk. They will blow out. They ride like crap, and don't do that to yourself. So don't do those. Just stick with something, you know, tried and true, like the Bilsteins, or yeah, I think it's either Bilsteins or Coney Yellows. I forget. I think Bilsteins for the Spec E30 stuff, and you should be able to find those on some websites. I think Turner Motorsports sells the Spec E30 stuff, so yeah, that would be cool. Ryan Lance says, help me install some coils on my E28s. I'm in the Bay. Hey man, hit me up on Instagram if you want to do that. We could do that because we probably got to chop them and weld them up. If you got the stuff, let me know. Come by. We could do it. I haven't done a video on an E28, so that would be cool. Parker says, next E30 video. Yes, I know it's been a while. Big brake swap. So I have the RX-7 front brakes. And yeah, I will probably be installing those soon. I have the Gurgistic coilovers. So, not coilovers. Why did I say that? I have the Gurgistic rotors, not coilovers, rotors that are pre-drilled. And I have the rear brakes, and I have the brake lines, and the calipers, and the adapters, and all that stuff. I just need to order brake pads, and I haven't done it. So if anyone can recommend a good brake pad, like track pad, let me know. I was thinking about going with some G-Locks or some Carbotex, but let me know if you guys recommend something else, or if you've used that RX-7 setup. Because I'm not really sure if I need a more aggressive rear pad once doing those, or how the brake balance is going to be. So it could be one of those things that I throw on there and I may end up taking off. I'm not sure. I might go back to the stock calipers. We'll just kind of see, like, if the brake balance is all screwed up and it feels like the ass is just walking or something like that and the front's grabbing too hard, I'll probably go back to the stockies and just throw race pads on them, because I know all the Spec E30 guys are doing fine on those, but you know, doing something a little bit different. Not that it hasn't been done, but I thought you guys would kind of appreciate that. So have it chilling. Just got to do pads. JHL 1997 says, awesome, just bought the 8.5 wide ones, wrap mine in Pilot Super Sports. Awesome, man. Yeah, those are good. I have the Pilot Super Sport 4S's on the Audi. Those are some freaking good tires. Nice and quiet and grippy. Those are good. Yes, I wanted to see the RX-7 stuff. Yay. Okay, cool. Yeah, FC RX-7, yeah. Hawk is awesome. Helping you pick compounds. Yes. So yeah, I might do Hawks. What is the Hawk? Is it the Hawk? Jeez, I forget. Hawk Plus, HSP Plus or something. I've heard they squeak a lot, but I'm not opposed to that. I'm just thinking I want a very high temp compound. That way I can track on the pads. I don't really care if they're super loud or super dusty. But I'd rather stick with either G-Lock or Carbotech, because you can run their street pads and you don't have to rebed in the calipers, or the rotors. I don't know why I'm saying calipers. You don't have to rebed in the rotors, because the friction material that it beds in on them is compatible on all of their specs, so between race pads and street pads. So that is super cool. So we'll probably try to stick with that. Throw some more questions down there, guys, because we're running out right now. If you guys have more questions, throw them down below. Any of those super chats are greatly appreciated as well. Open on, why did I say open on? It says opinion on catless downpipe versus catted. So I don't know what car you're talking about. Can you throw down what car possibly you're talking about? But I'll give you an opinion. So let's just talk about on a WRX. Something like a WRX. If you want to shoot flames, awesome, go catless. It is a bit louder with catless. Any way you look at it, when you change up your downpipe, okay, you're saying GTI, so when you change up your downpipe, it's going to be a bit louder. So yeah, I mean, if you want to shoot flames, it does smell, so you kind of get that. Really depends on, you know, do you want to be that guy that has a stinky car? So you're talking about MBQ or MQB platform, so I'll talk about the S3. So the S3 does have the 034 Motorsports downpipe on it, and it is catted, and that is just fine in my opinion. I like a single race cat overall because it does... The car gets a bit louder. I actually wish that the S3 didn't get louder from deleting the original cat, but when it has a smaller cell catalytic converter, it does make the car a bit louder. With the single cell one though, you lose less of the, or you know, you don't have as much of the stink. So that's really good, you know, not having that is a very nice. So yeah, I would kind of recommend doing catted one. The 034 makes a good one. It's really hard to get catless downpipes now, from what I've heard. A lot of areas will not sell them to you. If you live in California, good luck. You're gonna have to have it probably shipped to someone in another state, and maybe have like a buddy ship it to you or something. That's kind of the easiest way to do it there. Let's see what else we got. RJ is saying, do you ever reuse your old suspension hardware, or do you buy new OEM? Thinking about blasting and preserving the old stuff. So if you're just talking about like, yeah, stuff on the knuckles and all that, like my cars have been pretty new. If the bolt's rusted and gross, yeah, don't do it. You know, buy some new stuff. If you're talking blasting it because it's nasty, just go ahead and do yourself a favor and buy new stuff. But for me, I'm not too picky on that stuff unless it's like a single time stretch to torque bolt or something like that. So yeah, go for it, man. Go for preserving the old stuff. On my E30, I have to say, when I was taking apart lots of things on that car, super surprised by, forget if it's a zinc coating or whatever, but it's kind of that gold looking color. When I was taking bolts out of that car, I was so amazed because they looked amazing still. Like, they still looked like the day they were probably put in the car, which just goes to show those are 30-year-old bolts in a BMW. So they actually, the E30's build quality and BMW's build quality is huge. They really do a good job with using high quality fasteners and things like that. But like I said, you know, when it's a one-time torque kind of deal, yeah, you may just have to kind of shell out the extra money and just go ahead and get new bolts. Okay, Greg is saying, any more videos coming up with Brandon's Ford Focus RS? No. Sorry. Unfortunately, he sold that about a year ago, but I can kind of give you a little bit of updates on it. So his car was doing good for a while, had it for about a year, and after about a year, you know, with all of the stuff that it had done to it, so it had like downpipes, intakes, it was running on E30 at certain times, it had the, what brand was it? It's not ECS. ECS? No, that's not the brand. Totally forgetting the brand of intercooler, but it had the nice intercoolers, the ECS or something, I forget. All the Turbo Smart stuff, so it had the boost controller, and a bunch of other things done to it, the whole Miltech exhaust, catless downpipe, all the suspension goodies, Petter's coilovers, and he put Petter's sway bars on it eventually, and he had the white line spray bars on it for a while. But yeah, overall, the car did really good for the first year that he had it. He tracked it a bunch, even did global time attack a couple times in the car, but it did end up having the head gasket issue. So after that, he basically took it into Ford. They were actually cool with the mods that were on the car. They were totally fine with it, and they did the repair because that was during that like whole fiasco talking about it. However, if you guys know, every time you take your car to the dealership, guess what? They're not the best at fixing things. So he was actually just like kind of screwed over for a while. I mean, he had to put on, he basically, the guy put a new block in it. They put the new block in it, and you know, the dealership put everything back together, but he was like finding just loose bolts. Like he found a random bolt, like a nut in the freaking bell housing, like just chilling in there, flinging around, which just, you know, those guys get paid. They just get paid by piecework. So they're just slapping stuff together, and they really don't take their time to do a quality job. So that's why I really hate going to dealerships and stuff. But that was what kind of happened, and he was just chasing things, and then I'm like, he was just like, meh, I'm done with it. You kind of got over it. Same with how I was with my my WRX. Same sort of situation that I ran into. So yeah, he ended up getting rid of that. However, he got rid of it for about the same price that he bought it for, which was awesome. So he really wasn't out much on that. Parted out the car. Now he has an maybe 2012 hatchback, a white pearl. I forget the name. Whatever Subaru's pearl color is. I'm totally forgetting the satin white pearl. That's what it is. STI hatch, and it's running like a lot of horsepower. So I think he's putting down, it's over 5. I want to say it's like 540 with close to 530 foot-pounds of torque or something like that. It's insane. It's on DOM 3.5 turbo, and it's a beast. It's a monster. I've yet to actually see it run personally myself, but I know it's been going for a while. It's on full E85, and it's awesome. So hopefully, well, I'm sure. I just got to talk to him, and we'll do a video on it soon. I haven't hung out up there in a while, so we'll probably do some sort of driving review or first impressions of that thing sometime. I'm sure, but it is a Subaru, so hopefully it's good. So someone's saying, looking for a coilover for my E36 at the moment. Only have lowering springs, looks kind of cool, but I have body roll. Okay, so sorry if I'm butchering your name again, Kudasha or something. If I'm saying that wrong, sorry man, but anyways, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, so the coil springs, you know, unless you're running really stiff, you're still gonna get body roll. Best thing for that is going to be just change your sway bars first before you change anything else. Chances are your lowering springs are gonna be just fine. Maybe your struts are a little blown out or something, so you could go with some Coney yellows on that thing. And you're saying in an E36, I mean, that car will handle very, very well with that setup, but do sway bars and do end links first, and I swear that's going to help out your body roll a ton, and it will change the whole ride of the vehicle, and I think you will like it a lot more. Also changing out any of the bushings before that as well. So on your lower control arms, on your rear trailing arms, swap everything over to polyurethane if you're looking to get rid of that stuff. The front lollipops have a ton of deflection in them. I know my buddy Rodell was having issues like under braking where he has a little bit of like a wobble, because when you're doing heavy braking with grippy brake pads, those front little bushings tend to deflect. So that is a great thing to do. So yeah, man, I would just do that for now. I'm sure the car looks good. E36 on lowering springs is going to look fine, but sway bars, oh yeah. Advice on saving money on M20 Turbo. I don't know, man. I'm horrible at saving money. So I can't really tell you on that. Like pretty much every time I get money, I blow it all and buy more car parts. So yeah, that's pretty much how this channel runs, is by getting money every month and then buying more car parts. So that is, I don't know. But if you're going to do a turbo M20, yeah, if you're just asking, should you do a turbo M20? Sure, man. If you do like the, you can do the little stroker motor, you can do the ETA motor. I know those really like to be turbocharged. If it's an I motor, they don't like to be turbocharged as much, but I know you can still do it. You can make really good power. I think that the M20 is a super stout engine. I actually really love that engine in the E30 right now. It's probably one of the reasons why well, just besides being lazy and ordering parts, and again, saving the money to do so, you know, doing that is fine, because the M20 is awesome. They sound really, really good. I really love the M20. It's a good engine. It's well engineered. So yeah, I would recommend, if you want to do an M20 turbo, totally do it, because I think it's awesome. Don't do an M50 or anything like that. I see a lot of people doing M50s. Seems like a total waste of money in my opinion. Sure, you're going 24 valve, but and they're cheap. So like if your M20's toast, I guess it makes sense, but it weighs more, and the power that you're picking up is like, I think 10 horsepower or something. So power to weight ratio, your car is going to be exactly the same as far as speed goes. So, you know, save your money, do a S50, S52, S54 if you're a baller. But yeah, if you're on a budget, M20 Turbo, sick. Go for it. Which front camber plates have you used that are decent for street without excessive noise or noise, vibration, and harshness in VH? I don't really know because I've just used the CA tuned ones on my E30 and I'm all poly on that car, so NVH is pretty horrible and I don't really care because it's kind of race car. But I guess the ones, I mean, I don't know what car you're looking at. What are you looking at? It's just RJ. Let's try to figure that out. What car are you doing for the E30? I'm guessing. So, I'm thinking you're talking about E30. Where did I go back? So if you're talking about that car, I guess ground control, they make really nice stuff. They have caster camber adjustments, so that's probably what I would go with. You know, the overall camber plate's not going to really add a lot of NVH, besides it just not having a, you know, little rubber isolator like the stock ones. But I mean, if you're messing with suspension stuff, chances are your car is going to get a little bit louder. So I mean, it's just something you're going to have to deal with, but take into effect that your car is going to handle that much better, because an E30 with, you know, 2.5-3 degrees camber up front rips, has really good turn in, and it's a very good car. That will help a lot. Mario says, are you planning on doing another collaboration with my WRX channel? Probably in the future. I'm sure we will do something. JR is a cool dude. Every time he comes down here, he hits me up. So yeah, I'm sure whenever he's down here, he usually comes down like different holiday times. So if we can do something, we definitely will. Alex says, M20 love. Mini 97028 says M52 with M52 cams. Yeah, totally. Don't do M50. M52, I almost went that setup, and I think maybe you went S52 cams. I'm sure that's probably what you meant there, but yeah, that was kind of what I almost did back in the day before I got the S52, but still haven't done it. Let's see, definitely wanted a turbo. Yeah, dude, so 86 ES, that's perfect setup. Obviously, you're gonna want to do the head gasket and that sort of thing first, like do a, you know, really nice head gasket on that thing. I know you can up the compression a little bit and kind of do a stroker with the I head. I would probably recommend that, but it will up the compression a little bit. I'm not sure what you get out of it with the I head, but I would recommend to do that because an E is kind of boring, as you know. It only revs to, what is it, 5,000 RPM? So putting the I head's cool because you can, you know, chip it or whatever, and you can hit it at well, you'll have to do standalone anyways. But, you know, you can rev it out to like 65, 7,000 RPM. So definitely a lot more fun. But you can turbo an E as well. M20 has far more character. Yeah, dude, I agree. M20 is awesome. E30 through 25 IS. Okay, cool. That was what you're talking about, noise and harshness. Yeah, I mean, you could stick with... so as far as the polyurethane stuff goes, they have different durometers, so stick with the softer, more streetable stuff. I usually go with the harder stuff, which tends to be a bit louder. But, you know, if you're looking for your car to handle, you're going to get more noise and harshness and vibrations, especially if you go with, like, stiffer tires. So if you go with an R compound tire, it's really going to make your car loud. Trevor says, for show, Alex, M20 still wins over in my... Yeah. 350 Chevy and my E36 still connected to M20. Yeah. 350 small blocks are cool. Yeah. M50. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's what I thought you guys were thinking. More questions down there. All right. Yeah, but an E36 with the LS that's a sick setup. Not gonna lie. No, a lot of people hate LS setups, but they're pretty cheap. They're not super cheap, but they're pretty cheap. If you go with a small block Chevy 350, that's cheap. And they rip, and they're cheap, and you can find every part in the junkyard or at any auto parts store. So it's super awesome because it's very affordable, and it's like you need a water pump, you go, oh, I want like a 79 through freaking, you know, 1998 or something, 350 Chevy small block. You can just find parts, so that's cool. 2013 WRX hatch, stock suspensions, not into lowering it. Steering rack bushings, front and rear sway bars. would it make a significant difference in steering? Okay, so I think you're asking me, would front and rear sway bars make a significant change? Yes, totally. That was actually all I had done to my 2014 WRX hatch. I had the white line front and rear sway bars. I had 24mm front, or 22mm front, 24mm rear. I did that because I wanted the car to oversteer a little bit more and to have a little bit more play in the butt to dial out a little bit of that understeer. And yes, that makes a night and day difference in handling. The car will handle significantly better. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. You were talking about steering rack bushings. Yes, steering rack bushings you slightly notice. If you want to make the car really awesome, do the 2015 ST, or 2015 through current, I guess, STI steering rack. Do that swap, because if you got a 13 WRX, chances are your steering rack's gonna go out. I know mine went out. Most of my friends have tossed theirs out, and when they do that, they go to a 15 plus rack, and that makes a huge difference for steering quickness, because you're gonna have that quicker turn in, and the ratio is better. One of my favorite upgrades I did to my E30 was put in the Z3 rack, because it makes it super quick steering, and I love it. So that's great. Dropping off with a couple people, guys, but hit that thumbs up button on here if you would. I'd appreciate it. Have you run any E30s with a 3-plate diff? Considering you're building, but not sure if it's worth the extra cost. I was going to do that myself. However, I exploded my E30 diff because it was slipping. So, personally, haven't done it. I'm probably going to weld up and open in my garage soon, because over the years, I've just kind of learned that I kind of hate limited slips, and I just say that because I always burn them up, or I break them, or the clutches go out or something. So 3-disc LSD, yes, because for me, 2 discs has too much slip, end up spinning one tire too much. I want that thing to like lock up all the time. The only reason I really like an LSD is because, I mean, in a parking lot, it's not going to be insanely annoying, tripping tires and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely consider doing that diff plate. I will say, when you take it apart and you take apart the differential, it is a pain in the butt to try to get those screws all back in. There's like these little star pattern screws on there. So good luck with that, man. Try to label it. I would record it when you take it apart, because certain washers have different bevels to them. Is that the right word I'm looking for? Like concaved bevels, or concaved or convexed bevels. So you want to make sure you put those back in correctly. And when it kind of comes out, it could all fly apart. So definitely try to record that and remember. Trevor Baswell says he sold his M50 from his E36 to buy a 350 block. Awesome. Machined it, full refilled, flat top piston, still carbureted, ran. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm talking about. Like, if I were to do that swap and I didn't have to mess with smog, E36 with the small block Chevy would be awesome. Carburetors, super cool. I like carburetors. I mean, fuel injection, you could do. I would probably wouldn't even mess with like a standalone or anything like that. Like, I would just go with one of those Holley EFI type things, because it's super easy. 4 bolts, mounts it up. I think you like put power to the thing, put in an O2 sensor, and you're pretty much ready to rock, because you know it has a MAF like built into it, because it's all that, and it's pretty cool. And look, he's saying he did it for under $1,000. Under 1K. With the EFI, if you didn't want to go carbureted, you'd probably be in at like 2K. But yeah, they're awesome. Alex says, or see the guy Hoovie's Garage who recently put a LS in a 996. Yeah, I heard about that. I think he sold that car though, and I think he spent like a lot of money doing that swap. I want to say he spent like freaking 16 grand doing that swap. So awesome swap, but not cheap. Carl Simpson is saying, I'm watching from the UK. Give my guy a shout out for Carl. Super cool guy. What's up, Carl? Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Subi Life, somebody is saying. And then Alex is saying, I agree on the Z3 rack. Also, capped off the lines, great on track. Okay, so you're saying that yeah, 17K plus car. Exactly. Not a cheap swap. Cool swap, but not a cheap swap. Yeah, dude, the Z3 rack, like I said, one of my favorite mods that I've done on the E30 for sure. And yeah, I just totally love it. So if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and drop those below. If you're, wanting to ask me something about the E30, the M4, the S3, whatever, the 37 Ford, my old Mustang, whatever, my Scout that I sold as well, Don't know if I told you guys that, but yeah, that's gone. So Alex is saying that he capped off the lines for it. I still like the power steering, but I know a lot of people do that. That's a cool option. I've heard it gets good feedback. I'm sure it would actually be pretty cool, but I like the power steering as I drive it daily a lot. Actually, I kind of daily that race car quite a bit, which is funny. One seat, fully gutted, caged. You know, what you do. You just drive it 60 miles a day. Why not? You know, it's pretty fun. RJ is saying old ass E30 with totally oh my gosh, this thing is worth totally replacing brake lines or just replace fittings. That really depends on, is the car rusted, are they gross, you know, where's the car from? If they're not dented or dinged up and the fluid's decent and you haven't had any issues with it, I mean, I would just do the fittings. I would maybe do the calipers, rebuild the calipers depending on how they look. I mean, brakes is a hard thing, man. If they're gross and they're sketchy, redo it all, obviously. You know, I don't want to say, you know, oh, it'll be fine, because maybe it won't be fine. But steel braided brake lines, definitely highly recommended, and do those. And yeah, I mean, chances are you're usually okay with just doing the fittings in the lines. But again, it's, you know, on a case-to-case type of thing. Which Apex wheels did you get? Concave? Yes. I think they're the EC7s, maybe? If that sounds right. I don't quite remember. Hey, it's my cousin Josh on there. He says, big fan, love the content. Thanks, Josh. Always cool to hang out with you. Dude, we got to hang out soon. Hit me up or whatever. What paint process did you use for the interior on the E30 after gutted? Good question. So I went ahead and I dry iced everything. Right, so I got all of the sound deadener off, chipped it away with a hammer, blowtorch, little chisel, little scraper, chisel, that sort of thing. And yeah, I kind of went to town on that. And then POR 15, or I guess, what do they call it? POR 15? POR 15? I think they call it POR 15. I call it POR 15, but I think the actual POR 15. I used the gray. And I really like the way it looks. It smells absolutely god-awful. You will probably die installing it or painting it on. Kind of. It's really bad, so make sure to get a mask. I mean, the car is going to stink for like a month. And yeah, if you can do it, you want to do it in the winter. Or, sorry, you want to do it in the summer where it can dry, you know, and possibly leave the windows open. And you're going to want to do it somewhere open. I kind of halfway did it in my garage with the door open. Like I said, I had the mask on, but even with that, I didn't get sick, which was nice, but if I didn't have the mask on, I probably would have been dead. Like, really? But the stuff is super hard, has a very hard, like, setup. I rolled it on with a paintbrush. I mean, you can go back, look at my videos around the roll cage time, and you'll see quite a few videos back, but yes, there is a video on that, so I explained the whole thing, go over the whole thing. But I really just rolled it on. After doing the cage and everything, just rolled it on with a little roller brush and with a regular paintbrush. It sets up really good, and it's nice. You know, going to town with spray cans and stuff, that just wasn't that fun, you know, in my opinion. I didn't have to mask everything because I'm just rolling it on, so I could be very accurate with it. So, yeah, that's what I did. Angel says, worth going 5-lug swap? My opinion, no, because I have multiple sets of wheels. If there are wheels that you absolutely want to have, and they're 5-lug, that's my only reason that I would think of going 5-lug. I know people do it for braking upgrades and things like that, but it kind of changes up the offsets of your car too. Well, how far out certain things poke, like your flanges on your wheel hubs and all that stuff. So that can kind of screw stuff up. So in my opinion, I just stayed 4x100. Got those Apex wheels like we kind of mentioned before. I have a set of Panasports. I have 2 sets of Ambits. So I have, I got like 4. I have like 5 sets of wheels for that car. Kind of a lot. 4 sets of NTO1s and 1 set of Federal RSRRs on them. So I don't know. And then I'll probably put some good tires on something else. So yeah. So yeah, is 5-lug swap worth it? Not in my opinion, but again, you know, if it's something that you want to do, if you want to, just remember before you do your coilovers or before you do suspension stuff, have it in your mind of what you want to do. Because if you already have everything dialed for 4-lug, no, that's why I wouldn't do it. I have wheels and I have everything dialed for 4-lug, so it wouldn't be worth it in my opinion. Pineapple pin or something. I know that's not what it says, but that's pretty good. Might have already answered, but when's the S52 swap coming? Hopefully soon, man. I just gotta buy a couple more parts. I've been slacking hard. Basically waiting on some funds to get a clutch. I need to get a clutch flywheel. I want to get a Lighten flywheel. I need to get the ECU tuned because I want to stay OBD2. Need to get a few parts from Gurgistic for like the wiring and stuff. And then if anybody knows, DM me or whatever, if you guys have a really good wiring breakdown or something, or like a book on the S52, like if you have a PDF that's rad, go ahead and DM me on Instagram at Blake's Garage. If you guys aren't following me on Blake's Garage, I don't know what you're doing. It's almost 2019. What the heck, guys? But yeah, so do that. But that would be good. Are you going to cover the whole swap? So yes and no. And what I mean by that is it's not going to be like as hardcore as I would usually do a breakdown in detail. So like pulling out the engine, I'm not going to like show you like, oh, this is the bolt you need to pull off and all that stuff. I mean, we'll probably just kind of break it down like, all right, taking out the motor mounts, boom, taking out the motor, cutting off lines, all that stuff. Because how do you take an engine out? You get down in there, you start taking stuff off, and you kind of do it. So it'll kind of be an overview for that sort of stuff. And then with like stuffing the engine in, boom, stuffing it in the car. You know, I'm not going to get super detailed in that. That's like, you know, angling it in, trying to freaking get it bolted up. It's already stressful enough. So, excuse me, I'll have cameras on that, but it won't be like complete breakdown. However, so like subframe, I'll do some subframe reinforcements. And pineapple juice, that's funny. I'll do all those, you know, weld those things on and that sort of stuff. So I'll have like a video on that. I'll have a video on, you know, doing the transmission install, the CAE shifter install. So yes, I'm gonna try to break it down into segments. The wiring, not sure how much I'm gonna go into that because that may, you know, I might just kind of glance over it and just kind of show you guys. But I feel that that's kind of going to be one of those things that if you're doing the swap, you really got to get into it and you're going to have to break it down and figure it out. Oh man, getting all over here. So yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how that's going to work. So I'm going to try to break it into segments, like I said, multiple series, but we'll just kind of see because I want to get it running and stuff. So yeah, we'll do like an exhaust video. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna try to cover the whole swap as much as possible, but it might not be as detailed as normal just because there's a lot of stuff going on there and that could take a while. RJ said great interior question. So I hope so Drew said spray or brush. I did brush it on. I brushed the POR 15 on. Setting yeah, dude, do that stuff because it is good. It's kind of expensive for the paint. I think I went through about 1.5 jars. So buy 2 jars and you'll be totally fine. And then I rollered it on, but like not a big wall roller, but one of those little guys. Just rolled it on. Worked really well. I did like a goo-offed, you know, everything. Cleaned it all down before doing that. And I think some of the areas I hit with like a Scotch-Brite if it was kind of gross. Cheryl, Summon Ninja 02. Thinking about doing upgrades to my 2018 WRX. FW Motorsport, a good place to do the work, or another shop. My buddy Brandon, I mean, they're a good shop, but my buddy Brandon is up at not FW, gosh, what is the name? Up in Auburn. I can't even think about it right now. What is the name of that? It's where Snail Performance is now. Gosh, I'm gonna have to look that up. Hang on. M45 Automotive, that's what I'm looking for. M45 Automotive up in Auburn. They're awesome. They do all the stuff in-house, so they can do full closed deck blocks in-house. They do all the engine builds in-house. literally can take your block if it's not sprayed all over the place because it's a Subaru and it has exploded. They can take a stock, you know, casting and turn it into a full closed deck block. They do really good builds. All the guys up there are awesome. Tony up there is awesome. He has like record-setting turbo V-dub bugs. He's totally into boxer stuff, and they do a great job. Excuse me. And then Travis from Snail Performance can tune you up, and he is up there as well too. They have an enclosed dyno room, so you can get everything done you need, man. Carl Simpson says, Carl in the UK, I have an E30. I need to do an oil sump swap for my M52 engine from a 318. Yeah, so that's a video I'll be doing soon. I have the same thing. I have, what, it's a M50 oil pan from like, whatever it is, like a 525 BMW, because that's front sump. And I'm going to be swapping that onto my S52. So very similar. And I'll be doing a video on that. I need to do that. That's one I can totally do. It's just like I haven't bought a gasket, which I know sounds lame, but I need to do that so I can get you guys some content. Next year, we'll be doing it. Kadasha says, hi, I have an E36 engine and transmission. I'm planning to buy an E30 and use it. M50 engine. Is it cool? Is a cool build, but I'm also planning to use E36 steering rack and control arms and struts. What do you think? Yeah, that's totally fine, man. E36 control arms, I think I want to say are almost the same. They might be the same as E30. E46 are wider or longer. So yeah, I mean, you'll be fine with that stuff, man. If you could, I would go with like an M52 as you'll get a little bit more power. But if your E30 has a toasted M20, you know, I understand, but other than that, like, I don't know that I would even swap to the M50 unless your M20 is bad, because like I said, you're not gonna really pick up a lot of power or anything. Hate my Lightning flywheel on my 24 valve swap E30. All right, why, man? David, elaborate on that a little bit. I want one because I drove an S52 and I was like, this thing does not rev up quick enough. It felt very, very easy of a clutch. I want something that feels more race car. I want it to rev up really fast. So let me know why you don't like it. I'm gonna guess it's because it's a little harsh, makes a lot of vibration, chatter and stuff like that, but it's definitely something I want to do. What are the best 4x100 non-R compounds you've used? I don't think I have. I don't think I've really used anything non-R compound tire-wise recently. I had the RE11s, Bridgestone Potenza RE11s. Those were a really good all-around tire. Those are not an R compound. So, I mean, 4x100 doesn't really mean anything. I mean, you're just kind of saying for like probably 15s or whatever. But the RSRRs, I don't think they're an R compound, and they're decent. Like I said, they're cheap. Alex saying, should I have that wiring book for the M20 somewhere? It's called the ETM. Yeah, if anyone has one for S52, that's exactly what I'm looking for. There are parts threads for S52. Yeah, I found a lot of threads, but I'm looking for the guides. You know, if you can find a PDF and find me like something like that, if you have something like that, that'd be awesome. Because just for hoses and electronics and that sort of thing, I would love to have a book like that. Like I have a little Bentley guide for the E30, but I probably just need to buy one for E36 M3. That'd get me there. So Carl says, what's your opinion on air suspension? I'm thinking of fitting some on my E30. Looks super cool. I kind of talked about that earlier. I'm not a fan of air suspension. I'm not a fan of airbags. I get it if that's something that you're into. Great, you know, it's not my thing. I get if you want to be super low and all of that, but yeah, you can do it. C8 Tune does it. But for racing around and that sort of thing, for actually like performance driving, I don't recommend them. I know people say it's good stuff, but I like coilovers better because you can change dampen settings and the coil spring stiffness. You know, you can change the different coils and all that for tuning and all that stuff. With airbags, when you lower the car, you're changing camber and caster, so that dramatically kind of screws up, you know, the way it's driving down the road. So if you're lowering it, you'll have like some toe out, you know, if you're driving really low. So it can do some really weird stuff. It's kind of just, I would imagine it would be really hard to figure out your alignment stuff. So that's why I'm going to say it's not that great for handling. Also, depending on the ride height that you're at, that kind of depends on how stiff you're riding. So if you're up really high, your car's stiffer. If you're, you know, mid, that's where you're kind of squashier and all that stuff. So it's just kind of weird. I'm not huge on it, but I know a lot of people are. So maybe ask some of those guys. I don't know. Thanks. Keep up the good content. Thanks, man. David, did you drive a car with a lightweight flywheel? Maybe he's asking David. I have not, no. I mean, I've driven a car with lightened flywheels before, but not an E36 or S52. Have not. I've been in an S54 E46 M3 with lightweight flywheel. It was cool. Did make a ton of chatter. It was very loud and annoying, but the car revved up and grabbed very hard, and it felt race car, and that's what I'm looking for. Benny says, who knows a shop in the valley that could put a 2J in my E30? Not sure, man. Unfortunately, I do not know. Drew Fuller says, opinion on top and bottom in M20s for boosts. I mean, geez, I mean, I do just do it through 325i head. I think someone makes like a stud girdle from the bottoms for the bottom end, I think. So if you could do a stud girdle for the bottom, that would be good for the bottom end. But oh yeah, Bimmer race heads, yeah, with a turbo on the stock bottom end. I'm sure they do something like that. I haven't looked into it a ton, so I would just Google it, man. I'm sorry, I wish I knew more about that, but I haven't. It hasn't been something that I've been looking into, so I don't know. Lightened flywheel does rev up quicker, easy revving. It's just the clutch engagement isn't good. The grabbing point isn't really there. Okay, that's kind of interesting to hear. I guess I get what you mean by that, because it can kind of be just kind of varied, you know. Maybe it doesn't feel real good, but I don't know. I want it because when I was like rev matching the car and that sort of thing, I felt that I had to give it too much throttle blip. I had to give it too much input. I would like to give it less input. And yeah, I wanted to rev up quicker. Didn't really feel like a sprinty, racy engine. So yeah, that's what's up. So he said, yeah, if you want race car, then go for it. It's like on-off clutch for engagement. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's pretty much what I'm looking for. Yeah, and then Alex is saying it's easier to rev match, exactly. So that's what I'm saying too, is like you just gotta just give it a little bit of a blip for heel toe and stuff like that. When I was driving the other car, I felt that you had to dig in. This is my foot. This is my gas pedal right here. But I had to blip with my heel a lot harder on the S52 than like what I was used to with something with a lightened flywheel. So that's why I want to go with that. All right, guys, it's pretty much been like an hour. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Really, you know, awesome, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for every one of you guys being in the notification gang as it looks. So I know we had like 30 or 40 people in here at once. So everybody, thanks a lot. Have an awesome new year. We'll post a video on Tuesday, I want to say. But thanks for subscribing. Thanks for showing up. And thanks for hanging out, guys. Appreciate it. We will talk to you soon, as always. Later, and wrench on, guys. Oh.